for YouTube to start streaming, but I'm not going to be able to blur you out for this one. It's going to be too complicated.
I mean, I'm not bothered. Like this isn't going to be a political one, so I'm fine.
Okay. So, how's the audio? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the audio is okay. All right, let's begin our journey into quantum gravity and what is a graviton. All right, so what is a graviton? So if we have a particle with a mass, so we know that it would attract any test particles around it. So if this particle is, for example, let's say it's Earth. It's a bunch of particles. It's Earth, and we have an apple. So we know that it's a big apple and it's a small Earth. But imagine Earth is huge. So let's say instead of this Earth, yeah, okay, let's leave it. It's Earth. And an apple. So we know that the apple, but let's move them maybe a little bit apart. Let's move the apple a little bit apart. Okay. So we know that the apple will tend to fall towards Earth. The Earth actually is also falling towards the apple. They're falling towards each other, where they're exerting a force equal and opposite on each other. But the mass of the apple is tiny compared to the mass of the Earth. So the Earth is moving a little bit to the right. We can barely notice it, but the apple is moving noticeably towards the Earth. But the force is equal. All right. But Galileo.
Wait. Could you elaborate on that point just a bit more, though? Like, so what do you mean by like the force?
It's not important. It's not important. If you don't know that, it's honestly not important. What is important is what we're gonna say. That Galileo.
I think it's a bit important.
What?
I think it's a bit important. I'm trying to understand like why you're saying it.
No, I'm going back now. This is Newton, according to Newton. But Newton comes, I think, about 100 years after Galileo. So let's go to Galileo to about 1600. I think Newton is much later, maybe 1700 or 1800. Who knows? So let's start with Galileo. So Galileo, we don't know if this ever happened. He was living in Rome, and he had the Leaning Tower of Pisa, available to drop different masses from this tower. We don't know if he ever conducted this experiment. We know that he conducted an experiment with a slope, which is very similar. He rolled different objects of different masses off a slope, or something like that. This is more complicated because these things are going to roll, so that complicates the experiment. So let's go with the simple experiment with the dropping different masses from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So Galileo discovered, so everybody thought before Galileo that an object of 1 kilogram is going to fall towards the Earth slower than an object of 10 kilograms. They thought 10 kilograms is going to fall much faster than 1 kilogram. They thought that the heavier, I think Aristotle or something. What?
Something that weighs more than something else will fall to the ground faster unless they're doing something to prevent them gaining speed from falling, like trying to like make something like a feather, like so when it glides, so it can glide down.
Right.
But if it's just like a square box, if they're both square boxes, right, the 10 kg will hit the floor first.
That's what they used to think. So they used to think.
That's not no. That's mostly unified greed. I don't know what you mean. You used to think we still think this way.
So Galileo conducted an experiment. He actually tested this theory, which will fall faster. So he held on to like a 1 kilogram object and a 10 kilogram object, and he let them go at once, and he saw which one hit the ground first. And to his shock, he discovered that they fall at exactly the same rate and they hit the ground at the same time. They both hit the ground at the same time. And this is called the Galilean equivalence principle. So the Galilean equivalence principle says that objects fall down towards the earth at the same rate regardless of their mass, or its mass invariant. Or
Can you repeat the? So you said Galilean what something principle?
let me just finish. Or this is the test. This experiment or gravity is invariant to the test particle or to the test mass. Okay, so what is your question? You want me to repeat?
I said what was the thing? What? Yeah, no. What is? You said Galilean something something.
This is the Galilean equivalence principle, the principle of equivalence principle. So everybody has an equivalence principle. Einstein also has an equivalence principle, which is very similar, but the equivalence.
Right now, could I give you an example of why the?
But
I can prove scientifically.
Let me just finish a sentence. So I claim that I can derive general relativity. Einstein's general relativity could easily be derived from the Galilean equivalence principle. We did not need to wait for Einstein to come up with his thought experiment with the elevator and his happiest thought and his equivalence principle, because Galileo already gave us enough of an equivalence principle from which we can derive Einstein's general relativity. So Galileo could have already come up with general relativity, at least with the theory of gravity, the principles of general relativity. If Galileo would have thought enough about it, would have been perplexed enough about the conclusions of this experiment, he could have sat down and thought, how could this be? Because if you think about it, if these two fall to the earth at the same rate, then what about a piece of not 1 kilo, but 1/10 of a kilo, or 1/100th of a kilo?
Yeah, but this principle only works for
1 second.
points in space time,
Yeah.
not
1
actual
second.
regions.
1 second. 1 second. This could also be true. Should also be true for 1 gram and 1 microgram, and it should be actually true if you go on and on and on and on, basically for a particle that almost has no mass. We don't know what would happen if it actually has no mass, but if we get close, I don't think Galileo had the concept of infinity or infinitesimal, but we don't want infinity, we want zero. So as the mass tends towards zero, this should still hold. We can see it from this experiment. Let me just check my message. So Galileo should have already should have seen this and should have said, wait a minute. So everything should accelerate at the same rate towards the ground, even if it's massless, basically, if it's almost zero, infinitesimally close to zero. So it sounds like it's the geometry of something is going on with the actual geometry or the actual space. It sounds like space itself is falling into the ground at the same rate, or at some rate, something that is when I was thinking just about Galileo's experiment, that's what I came up with. And basically, you can come up with a theory of gravity with a very similar or equivalent to general, even an improved general. I came up with an improved general relativity that immediately solves black holes and immediately solves quantum mechanics just from the Galilean equivalence principle. Yes, Mr. Jimbo, what's the question?
See, I'm not going to question that because the acceleration bit, like everything accelerates at the same time. Absolutely agree with that. But to calculate the force of something, so you need to do the gravity. You need to know the mass. You can work out the resulting force that's
What
made in newtons.
what's the question?
Right.
I don't understand the question.
Right. So you said you was on about the. Let me just get the things I wrote down. The Galilean equivalence principle, which
Wait,
I
are
agree
you
with.
watching?
Everything
Oh,
accelerates at the same rate.
wait. So you're watching.
Your
You
thing's
should
not really
watch.
loading for me.
You should watch the YouTube stream. Let me give you the YouTube stream. You should watch that because then I think you would maybe see better. Anyway, let me give you the YouTube stream. You should have that.
Mm.
But what is your question?
Yeah, no. My question is this, right? So even though that they will accelerate at the same rate, a heavier object will have a higher, like you know what I mean, terminal velocity when going to the ground. So therefore,
Wait.
it's going to go faster than the other objects, even
That's
because
not.
directly they have a different mass.
That's okay. So as far as I know, Galileo, you can test it. You can take two objects of different masses, drop them from the same height. You will see that they reach the ground at the same time. So, are you questioning?
Depends on the height,
What do you mean?
because each object has a different terminal velocity. Each one has a different terminal velocity because you need to know the weight of the object
Hold on.
and the force of gravity.
No.
Then you find out the resultant force.
Hold on. So, Galileo took two objects of different masses, held one in the left hand, one in the right hand, went up to Pisa, to the top floor, dropped them at the same time. They reached the ground at the same time. So, what are you saying?
Right. I'm saying that objects have different terminal velocities. Now, when I say terminal velocity,
Hold
I
on,
mean something that
hold on.
when dropped,
Hold on. So, you're saying that that like the 10 kilograms reach the ground with a higher velocity?
well, the 10 kilogram block over the 1 kilogram block will have a higher, it will have a higher,
Yes.
it will have a higher terminal velocity,
Okay.
meaning
Wait.
faster. It will be dropped faster.
Wait. Fine. So you're saying the 10 kilograms you suspect it impacts the ground with a higher velocity than the 1 kilogram, right?
When both things are able to both reach terminal velocity, yeah. Not in, but like, let's
You're
say
saying
if I put them
you're
both
saying
like a meter high, no,
hold
they'll do the same.
on. You're saying when you say terminal velocity, you mean because of air resistance? Yes or no? What do you
I'm trying to
mean by
more
terminal?
refer. I'm trying to refer. I'm trying to refer to that because I'm not on about just like a meter high, right? Because if I drop a Pepsi can and I drop my keys, like they will. But I do know like they will both fall at the same time, got the same rate of acceleration, because gravity's a force and it acts the
No,
same.
we
But
don't
what
know
I'm
that.
saying is
Galileo,
when
hold
if
on,
it was dropped from a higher point,
hold. We don't know that. So you're talking, you're moving up like hundreds of years forward in the history. I'm talking about Galileo. I don't think Galileo even knew what a force is. I don't know.
it's not. But we're not on about history. We're on about science.
No,
We want facts. I'm not trying to discredit.
no. Hold on, slow down. We don't know anything at this point. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to get more complicated than this experiment. From this experiment, knowing nothing else, I can derive general relativity. So I don't need to know what a force is. It's irrelevant. I don't care what a force is.
No, it is because it proves that it will fall to the ground faster.
No, look, we ran an experiment. We got the data done. I don't care about any explanation. For now, I don't care about an explanation.
Right. So the terminal velocity of a human is
Wait, hold
120
on,
miles per hour.
hold. When you say terminal velocity of a human, you mean like because of air resistance, right? Yes or no?
I don't know what it's terminal velocity, my guy. I
Terminal.
don't get what
Okay,
you
so
mean.
we're ignoring air resistance. So let's say he dropped either. Imagine he dropped it in a vacuum, or he.
So you want a vacuum. So you want it in a
Let
vacuum.
me finish. Let me just finish the sentence. So let's imagine it's this experiment was in a vacuum, but you can conduct this experiment if you take two metal balls, one like 1 kilo and 2 kilo. You can conduct the experiment and you can report to us if one of them fell faster than the other. So as far as we know, he conducted this experiment and he got the same speed. That's a given, or he got the same. They reached the Earth at the same time. That's given. Let's start this discussion about what's given. Given that we know from history, we open.
But you didn't
Hold
originally
on,
put in
hold
that
on,
parameter in place.
hold on. Given that we
You're
open,
changing your thing now.
yeah, I'm changing. I'm changing. Given, let's change everything. Start over. Given we open Wikipedia and Wikipedia tells us that
You didn't
hold
put
on.
these parameters in
I
place
didn't do it
already.
before. I'm changing everything. We're starting over. So Galileo, given that Galileo ran experiment with 1 kilo and 10 kilo, both, and let them go at the same time. They both reached the ground at the same time. That's given. We're not going to argue with that. Assuming he conducted this experiment, that's the result he got. If you question it, go test it yourself. Until then, that's what we're assuming. So far, so good? Yes or no?
If you are only if you are give it the idea of a vacuum. If you are putting it in a vacuum, then yeah, I'll concede.
No, don't
But
concede.
like,
That's
if we're
given.
still
There's
saying
nothing to
there's no
concede.
vacuum,
There's nothing to concede. That's a given. We're starting a discussion with a given, with an axiom, with an assumption. Nothing. You don't concede yet. I didn't make an argument yet. I told you what's given. Do you have any question on what is given? Assuming. Do you have any questions on the assumption?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Question of assumptions. Yeah, obviously, yeah. Hey guys, how you doing?
Okay, Andrew.
hello.
Okay, look, I'm trying to make an a quick. This was supposed to be a quick video about quantum gravity and the graviton. So we're just assuming Galileo ran an experiment. We don't know anything except for he dropped 1 kilo, 10 kilo at the same time. They reached the ground at the same time. That's given. I did not make an
Yeah,
argument yet.
how? Wait. Wait, can you explain to me how you said it before and I asked you for explanations?
No, I didn't explain anything. I'm saying that's given. This is what's given in this
What do you mean
discussion.
given?
What?
It's not proven. Yeah, but it's not scientifically proven.
It's
It's a
given.
claim.
It's given, assuming this is
So
what
what?
happened.
I can okay, hear it. You're gay. It's a given. Yeah. Obviously it's a given. A
To
given
be
is
fair,
basically a claim which is within your argument.
Guys,
Called
just
I don't
word
want
given.
it.
to waste.
Just
Look, I don't
explain
want.
your argument.
Hold on. I didn't argue anything yet. I'm telling you. Let's assume it's given. You have to start with something given. Let's assume
All right, bro. So you're assuming that it's right.
that this is given. It's an
I mean,
assumption.
I
What do you
can
mean by given?
as I said, like you
Okay,
can
so it's
disprove it.
assumption.
What?
Yeah,
If you drop
obviously.
a 10 kg block from space,
One at a
you know, like the people in Red Bull when the humans dropped.
I'm telling you
Like if you
exactly.
Logically
Look at the
delicious.
diagram. Hold
kg,
on. Wait one second. Look at the diagram, Andrew. Look at the diagram, or if you see it online on the stream right now. This is what's given. This is given. We're assuming this is true. We're starting from this.
but why can a
Okay.
penny go to only a
Wait.
maximum of 50 miles
So
per
why
hour in
doing an
terminal velocity, but a
assumptions?
human goes to 120?
One at a time. Andrew,
Wait.
your
That
turn.
proves it.
Okay. So why doing an assumption when you can find the true value or the true factualities rather than making some baseless theories?
Look, as far as I know, it's a true story, and this has been
But you can't
replicated.
prove it. It's a true story,
Okay,
which
listen.
is a point I'm talking about.
Listen, as far as I know, it's true. It happened. Either this happened or enough similar stories have been tested that weights of different masses fall at the same time. There's actually a YouTube video, you want to see it, that they have a huge vacuum chamber and they drop a feather and a metal ball, iron ball, drop them at the same time, and both land at the same time. That's a given.
Yeah, see, you see, keyword there, right? You've just failed to explain it properly, dude. That's it. You just kept missing out the part of the vacuum because that changes
No, I
the
don't need. No, it
situation.
doesn't.
Because
no,
that
it
means there's
doesn't. It does not.
You're telling me a vacuum does not change. The vacuum is what causes the penny to only go 50 miles per hour and the human to go 120 miles per hour. When you remove the vacuum, they go the same speed.
Jimbo, after you ask a question, let me
No,
respond.
terminal velocity of a penny is 50 miles per hour. That is the max speed it can go. Terminal velocity.
Jimbo, after you ask a question, you gotta let me respond, and you cannot repeat the question as I'm.
But I've not asked my question though. I'm still saying my thing. You just cut me off. That's what you've been doing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, ask your question.
Right. So if a penny's max terminal velocity is 50 miles per hour and a human's is 120, those clearly aren't the same speed.
Jimbo, stop.
Right.
Jimbo,
you didn't bring the vacuum. No, you didn't say the vacuum first. That's why me and him struggle to understand it. That's it.
Jimbo, stop. When I ask you to stop, please
you just didn't explain the fact there was a vacuum first.
Jimbo, when I ask you to stop, please stop. Come on, let's have like a normal discussion. So this is given. We're starting from this. It's given. Imagine it happened. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult?
No, I'm just saying, can you be more clear in the way you explain things? Because you're missing out important information, which is why people are confusing it.
No, I'm not. It's given. No, I didn't miss anything. This is it. It's given. I'm making up.
No, originally you did not bring up the fact it was going to be in a vacuum. You did absolutely not bring up. We can turn back the video.
Stop. I'm not saying it's in a vacuum. I said there is a video where they tested it in a vacuum. This is not in a vacuum. Let's assume it's also.
Theory only works in a
Jimbo,
vacuum.
let me finish. Jimbo, stop. Come on. Let me finish. Let's assume that what you call friction and the slowing down because of the air and terminal velocity, we're assuming Galileo didn't experience any of those issues. Let's assume that. Assuming that.
But then his argument is not as credited as it was before. So I'm not saying what he's saying is false. He's absolutely correct.
I'm not saying it ever happened. I'm not saying this ever happened. We're assuming there is a person that is called Galileo. It's a thought experiment. Imagine we're in a new empty universe. Let's empty this universe of everything. Now let's introduce into the story a person called Galileo. It's an imaginary being. Let's introduce an imaginary planet that we're going to call Earth. We're going to put this imaginary Galileo on imaginary Earth. It's an imaginary story. It's an imaginary thought experiment. Let's imagine on Earth there is a leaning tower of Pisa. Let's imagine imagined Galileo walking up to the top of Pisa, leaning over. Imagine he's holding two imaginary 1 kilo and 10 kilos. And imagine that he dropped them and imagine that they fall and hit the earth at the same time. This is all imagined. That's given. So you don't ask me any question other than do you understand what's given? Do you have any questions on what's given? Yes or no?
No, because the theory only prevails in a false vacuum. When it's not in a false vacuum, no,
there's no theory. There's only a
Let me explain. Let me explain at least.
No.
Can I explain at least?
Explain what? I didn't.
What
say
do you mean? No,
I
can't explain.
The word, Jimbo. I didn't say the word theory yet. I'm not. There's no theory yet. There is only a phenomenon.
We're not doing guessing games. It's science. We want facts. We don't want guesses.
Jimbo, stop. We noticed a phenomenon that objects fall at the same time from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's a given. Let's assume we notice the phenomenon when we drop objects of different heights, they all fall at
No,
the
because it
same.
only works in a vacuum. If there's no vacuum, I can't agree with it.
All right,
No.
it's a given, Jimbo. It's a given. Look, if you don't want to start from the given, then I don't know what to do. We're gonna have
No,
to.
but you're trying to say this given's correct,
It's a
and I'm going to
hypothetical.
tell you
Do you
why
know,
the given's not
Jimbo?
completely correct.
Do you know what a hypothetical is?
I know what a hypothetical is,
So this is a
but
hypothetical.
we're going to go through all the parameters.
It's a
So
no.
the
In
reason
a
why in a
no,
vacuum
no,
that they both fall
no,
at the same speed is
no, no.
because
Okay, Jimbo.
because gravity's a
Okay,
force and it
enough,
acts down and it pulls them down at the same speed.
Okay, Jimbo, you're making it impossible. I thought it would be possible. You're making it impossible. I'm just trying to get through.
No, you keep cutting me off now without letting me explain my points. It's incredibly disrespectful.
What point? Every point
you keep cutting me off. That's why I've not been able to explain it.
Every point you're making is irrelevant. I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? I don't know.
Irrelevant to the topic. You're saying it's a given. I'm telling you, unless it's in a vacuum, right?
You cannot
because
tell
gravity is
me.
a force.
I'm telling you.
As a force.
Jimbo, no, stop. You're not telling anything. I'm telling you what's given. You cannot tell me what is given. I'm introducing.
And is it no, answer me this, so is it a vacuum?
No, it's not. It's given.
Then you must know it will have a higher terminal velocity, therefore it will go faster.
Okay, enough. Okay, look, we're going to have to end it. I'm going to have to restart this video.
You just don't know. To me, I just don't know if you know your own topic, to be honest.
My God, Jimbo. Oh, my God. It's none. It's
you've not. I can actually try to give an explanation to you. You can't, apparently.
Okay, Jimbo, come on. That's too much. I mean, we can debate on politics, but you want to debate on what's given in a hypothetical about Galileo's experiment?
In science, you don't use fairy tale imaginary stuff. We go with what we know. Quantum physics is where we go into the theories.
All right.
That's when we go into guessing games. Well, more guessing games.
Let's end it here. I'm gonna have to say goodbye, and I'll talk to you another time because I want to make a video about this topic. So.
See you, man.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, I'm sorry. This was an interesting interaction. I didn't think we would get into a clash over what's given. Oh my God. All right, Anthony says, what the hell is I know. I didn't think. Jimbo, can you I know, I don't understand. Anthony Reich says, Jimbo, can you see this? It's like I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that Jimbo couldn't take what's given. I couldn't get through what's given in a hypothetical. So funny. All right, it was an interesting interaction. I love Jimbo. He's a good. I mean, he's very young, so maybe it's because of that. Maybe I don't know, but interesting interaction. Certainly interesting. I did not think that I could get into such an emotional clash over such a fundamental hypothetical. It's like I'm actually blown away. That was a very interesting interaction. Humanity is definitely hopeless because Jimbo is very smart. So if a smart person can clash over something so trivial, he's brilliant. I mean, he's basically after high school, and he is brilliant. He's a great debater. So, yeah, we're doomed. We're doomed. Okay, I'm going to call this take one, and I'm going to go to the bathroom, answer some texts, come back, kill myself, and then we'll go do take two. See you later, everyone. Bye.